At one point I had recommended that in response to the hate propaganda radio known as Radio Mille Collines, that the U.S. could use military radio jamming equipment to block those radio transmissions, to take them off the air effectively. One lawyer from the Pentagon made the argument that that would be contrary to the U.S. constitutional protection of freedom of the press, freedom of speech.
Truly atrocious that we weren't able to do something because of some legal nicety about international radio conventions. And then the APC thing as sort of emblematic, symptomatic.
Washington had agreed to send 50 armored personnel carriers to the UN peacekeepers, but they would take 3 months to arrive.
Why? Because we spent so much time wrangling about who was going to pay for them, who was going to pay for refurbishing them, who was going to transport them, who's going to pay for the transport, who's going to pay for the training of the Ghanaians so that they could use them. I mean, and again, it's sort of bureaucracy at its very worst, but we couldn't, at our level, we couldn't break through that. Somebody else would have had to intervene to say, this is nonsense, get on with it, do it.
The bureaucratic paralysis emerged from the administration's decision not to intervene. 7 weeks into the genocide, President Clinton restated his policy that the U.S. would intervene in a humanitarian crisis only if it were in America's national interest.
The end of the superpower standoff lifted the lid from a cauldron of long simmering hatreds. Now the entire global terrain is bloody with such conflicts, from Rwanda to Georgia. Whether we get involved in any of the world's ethnic conflicts, in the end must depend on the cumulative weight of the American interests at stake.
The one American to stay in Kigali when the embassy closed probably saved more lives during the genocide than the entire